My name is Rineric. Welcome back to another episode of Sports Light, presented by BCCTV. Joining me today, I have Coach Hall from the St. Roch Secondary High School. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Of course. First, I want to congratulate you on the amazing season you guys had this season. You guys played very well, and you guys had a very good season. So first off, I just want to ask you a couple questions of how you became a coach and why you chose this field. So first off, I want to ask you, what inspired you to become a coach, and what has coaching done to you into your everyday life? How were you able to do it every single day, wake up and decide, okay, I want to coach these kids, and what drives you to keep on going every single day?
Well, when I first started, I started off as a high school teacher. I still am a high school educator.
Okay.
And when I got my first teaching job, I just wanted to help out with the basketball team. So I talked to the head coach of the school I was at, and I said, hey, I'm interested in helping out with the basketball team. It's always been something I wanted to get into coaching because I played for so many years. And then when I got there, he had a senior team and a junior team, and he just said, hey, I'm going to coach the senior team. Here's the junior team. So I'd never coached before. So I was in a completely new environment. I had no idea what I was doing, where to start. So that first year was just a whole learning experience for me. But I found that I really enjoyed it. So our first game, I remember we got blown out. And then afterwards, I decided that I really need to invest in my craft if I'm gonna keep doing this. So I started reading books, watching DVDs. You know, I had a whole binder full of plays, and then afterwards we started having success. And then I kind of got hooked on it. Once I started winning, I had different goals for myself. I'm like, okay, now that I'm winning, let me try to make the playoffs next season. And then we make the playoffs, and I'm like, okay, now that I made the playoffs, let me try to win a round in the playoffs. And then from that, championships.
Yeah, I've watched a lot of your games, and you guys have been playing very, very well. And that's something that we actually have to acknowledge, especially as people in our community. There are athletes that really want to make it far in life in the sport, and what you're doing is a very good thing to be able to give these kids an opportunity to be able to grow and actually do something with their life.
I appreciate that.
So one more question. Can you share a coaching moment where it had a major impact on your life?
One of my coaching moments that I think had the biggest impact is I coached a kid at St. Francis Xavier before I got to St. Roch. And I actually mentored him a lot, trying to get him into university. And he did make it to university. And he was one of my greatest basketball players. And then over the summer when he started his first year of university, I actually got the news that, he had been shot. And that one really affected me because I come to think of these kids as my kids now. They don't just become players. They feel like they're your sons at some point.
Yes.
So that one really, really hit me hard because this is a kid who, he didn't have basketball shoes at the time. So I used to lend him my shoes to play in. And then I got him into university. He was probably one of the first people in his household to go to university. And to hear about his death, that coaching moment, it really got to me.
Yeah, that's a very tragic thing that happened. And one thing I would say that we actually really have to talk about these things when athletes go off to university, because when you're off in university, there's no one there to really help you and guide you. You don't get as much as help that you did in high school. Your coach is not always there to mentor you and help you, because now in university you're just another player that's gonna come and go, and they can easily replace you. And that's one thing we actually really acknowledge, that with kids our age that are going through to the next level if they want to make it to the league. So yeah, what is your approach on building a strong team culture?
Well, I had to find out what kind of coach I wanted to be. So when I first started coaching, I just kind of did what I saw everybody else doing. Whenever I thought of a basketball coach, I thought of people just yelling on the sidelines, telling people get on the baseline to run. But then I'm going home and my voice is gone, and I'm like, this isn't me. It's not me. That's not the kind of coach I want to be. And so I started thinking about what basketball is. I'm trying to teach them the game. It's no different than what I do in the classroom. And so I said to myself, I wouldn't yell at my kids, my students in the classroom. So why am I yelling at these guys when I'm trying to teach them something?
Yeah.
So I took a step back, I actually started teaching the game as if it was another class. And I've had a lot of success with that. I don't make kids run just for no reason. Everything that I do has a purpose in practice. Every drill that we do is something that leads towards something we can do in the game. If I want them to work on their conditioning, we're not just going to get on the baseline and run. I'm going to have them be doing a drill that involves running, but also involves the skills needed to be successful on the basketball court.
Okay. So how would you handle conflicts that happen or challenge between players, or even if it's during a game?
During a game, calmer heads prevail. That is my motto. Whenever we get into the huddle, sometimes I even call timeouts just to calm things down. If we're getting a little heated out there, we got to remember that we're there to play the game. Once we start letting our heads get into it, then we start causing turnovers. Then we start taking bad shots. So I need to keep everybody on the same page so that we can go out there and execute.
So what are some things or exercise or practices that you do to help your players to not only gain good skills, but also a good mentality? Because I know you need to have a good mentality to be able to play the game, because basketball is not only a skill game. You need to use your mindset to be able to play and maneuver the ball. So what are some things that you do to train your players, your captains, to be able to lead the team and really bring all of them together?
Well, one thing about St. Roch is usually when you have a basketball team, your captain is the best player on the team. That's not what it's like at St. Roch. My captain is the person that I can trust the most to be my voice, be most like me when they're on the court. So it's not necessarily my best player that's going to be the captain of the team. My captain is always someone who I see myself in. I see someone who's calm, who takes direction very well, and can be my voice when I'm not out there. So chances I choose my captains very carefully, and sometimes it might not even be a starter who is my captain, but it's always somebody who takes control of the game, is calm, and can do things that I need them to do on the court.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, now we're going to go on a short break, and we'll be back with more interesting topics to talk about.
They say every heroine don't wait to be served. She writes her own story. Every woman has a story of strength, courage, love, and ambition. They rise above challenges, break through careers, and inspire us all.
Join heroines Blessing Ajayi, Adechishola Otiba, Emma Answer, Kim Ambrose, and Mokesh Burke as they take you on a journey through the fascinating world of women, with stories that touch your heart, challenge your mind, and uplift your spirit.
Accomplishing, if I'm in any sort of pain about anything, they're there for me. And to me, that is the embodiment of sisterhood.
And which is what we bring to the table. If we were all the same, then it would not have the power that it needs to have. But if you're unique and you're bringing different skill sets, that is how we build each other up. That is how we help each other, empower each other.
So sisterhood is really celebrating each other's successes. Successes.
To them about their problems, their challenges, and that's how I started building my network.
And like we all said, every woman has a heroine within her. Until you discover.
This is the Heroine Show. Showing on the Black Community Canada TV on YouTube and other BCCTV platforms. Join the conversation on socials and lend your voice, because every woman is a heroine.
Welcome back, everyone. Now we're going to ask Coach Hall more interesting questions. Now, Coach Hall, how do you spot potential in a player, and what are things that you can help that player grow as a person, but also a player?
Well, the first thing I look for is, even in the tryouts, I look for the players, when I'm speaking, I look for eye contact. The ones who are fully engaged, actually taking in what I'm saying, because body language is a huge part of basketball. If you have players who are not looking away from the team during the huddles, those aren't the kind of guys that are going to help you win. So when I have guys who are fully engaged at all times, those are the players that I look for.
Okay, that's good. That's good. So, how do you like? Can you share, or is there any example that you can give us that you've ever helped like a player overcome like a major setback? It could be either injuries, poor performance, or it can even be in the classroom.
Well, sometimes during games, I have guys who have specialties. So I have a kid on my team, great three-point shooter. He's having the terrible game. He's shooting the ball, he's missing. He gets to the huddle. I'm not shooting anymore. I tell him, no, that's not how things work. He's like, you're on the team because you're a good shooter. You go out there and you shoot. Just because you miss one, you have to have a short memory as a shooter. You miss one, you got to take the next one. So in order to keep us in games, sometimes I need to push these guys. They feel like they're going to miss the next one, but no, we have to keep pushing. You guys have to play your game, do what you're good at, trusting yourself, and that's the only way that we're going to be successful.
So is there, because I played football and our coach always had like some advice or like a small pep talk depending on your position. So I used to play D-line, O-line, and they'll just give us some advice, and if something's going on, this is what you need to reflect. If you're getting your butt kicked out there, you know, make sure you don't give up and keep on doing what you're supposed to do, because at the end, if you're doing your job, the whole team's going to be able to do their job because you're not worried about what's going on. So what advice, or are there any type of pep talks that you give to to your players, especially if it's a high stake game like playoff game, or if you know it's going to be a difficult game?
I think you said it right there. You got to trust your teammates. Everybody has a job to do. If everybody goes out and does their job, we're going to be successful. If even one person doesn't know what they're doing, especially on offense or defense, the whole thing falls apart. That's why it's a team. It requires teamwork.
Yes, exactly. I agree with that. Now, what are the long-term goals for the team?
Long-term goals? Well, we've been very, very successful at St. Roch, especially over the past couple of years. Our girls team went undefeated this year, won the championship, went to OFSA. Our junior boys basketball team went undefeated in the regular season. We hadn't lost a game from November up until March. We went undefeated that whole time. And this is not just regular season games. This is 4 tournament championships involved in that, and then blowing out teams in the playoffs, but then we just came up a little bit short in the championship game this year. Our senior team, same thing, undefeated regular season, had a little mishap in the playoffs. Long-term goals, I want to go to OFSA, and I want to make some noise at OFSA.
Okay.
The thing that I like about St. Roch is we're a traditional high school. We're not like these high-power prep schools, but I'm trying to show kids that if you're not particularly ready to go to prep school, there is still good basketball out there. There's still good sports out there. There's this mentality that if you're not playing for a prep school, then you're not good at basketball. The guys that I have on my team, we can compete with any prep school out there. And I know that because prep schools have been contacting me. Let's set up a game, coach. Let's set up a game. We love what you're doing at St. Roch. Let's set up a game. So I love that for us. I love that word kind of known as a prep school. So if you're not ready to, to pay the big bucks to go to prep school, you come to St. Roch. Quality of basketball is exactly the same. Coaching is exactly the same. We practice 4 to 5 days a week. We go to tournaments outside of our city, and it's the same thing.
Yeah, of course. One thing I would say about St. Roch is that not only their coaching staff, but even their teachers make sure that they treat their athletes like basically like royal people. They make sure that they're good in their classes. And that's one thing I appreciate about the school, because they really care about their athletes. They care about their students, and what you guys are doing over there, helping these kids. Because a lot of kids don't have enough money to be able to go to these prep schools, like you said, and St. Roch is giving them an opportunity and a light to be able to shine and go many places. Because everyone knows that it's not easy to go pro in Canada, and with the type of connections that St. Roch has alone, is really helping these kids grow. So, how do you plan to keep pushing the team to the next level in terms of performance and success?
Well, right now, losing in the championship game, our team is hungry. The juniors are hungry, the seniors are hungry. The girls team, you know, they're coming off a lot of success too. So we're myself and our senior coach Gary Fleming, we're about to start spring training camp. So that's going to be basically a couple days a week. We're just going to go in, we're going to get guys through the motions just to, you know, kind of start preparing for next year. It is a long season. We went from September up until March, so it is a grind. And I know my family, you know, as much as they love that I'm going out there and pursuing my hobbies, they love when I'm at home too, right? So it's good to be back home with the family. So I'm going to dedicate a couple of days a week to the program just to make sure that we stay fresh and we're ready for next season. But off season is exactly that. It's the off season, so it's a chance to recharge, you know, refuel and get ready for the grind again.
So how are you going to manage to be able to balance, because you said you also teach, so how are you able to balance your time to be able to teach, train the players for the off season, and also plan for the next season coming up?
All credit goes to my wife. If she is not there to, you know, take care of the household while I'm out, you know, helping these kids achieve their dreams, none of this happens. So having a good woman by your side is very important with this. So if none of this happens if she's not there.
Yes.
So I credit her a lot for what she does, a lot of sacrifices. You know, sometimes I'm not there to put my kids to bed because I'm out there helping these kids chase their dreams. Sometimes we have early morning practices. I'm gone before everybody wakes up. We're up at 6 o'clock in the morning. We're grinding. We're in the gym, trying to get better, and that's basically it.
Well, thank you very much, Coach Hall. I really appreciate you for coming on to the show and just talking about, you know, the team and what you guys have set planned in the future.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
No problem. Well, that's it for today's episode on Sports Light, Sports Talk Show by BCCTV. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, and comment, and also share with your friends and family. And also comment any type of videos you would like to see from us in the future. My name is Rineric, and you're watching Sport Light.